Yeah, I've been real happy with Harmony. You know, obviously every single project you find, that nothing's ever gonna be perfect, right? I mean, it is what it is. It's a new space. It's uncharted territory. Some things are being made up as they go along. They're the roadmaps are basically there for the development of the innovators and the people that are kind of pushing through it now. So I mean, you know, I think the majority of the people that are around right now are, shrug their shoulders is what it is. We're all here for the long term, and these blips, whatever. At
Yeah.
least that's me. I Gucci baby. Just we're good.
Exactly, Gucci baby.
Yep. So Isaac,
Yeah.
what brought you into the space? Well, I guess how'd you guys meet? You guys know each other for a while from software development or what?
Actually, no, during the hackathon, the Harmony hackathon this past August, past summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of where it all started, and that's actually where we kind of started the initial, I guess, MVP of FishFight, as we launched the testnet then. But yeah, my background is software development as well. So I've been, I guess, in the industry for about 6 years, and I got into crypto the past year and a half, and specifically Harmony this past summer. With the hackathon, they were offering some great opportunities for developers to get started in the ecosystem, and that's where Ed and I met. We just really wanted to build a fun game and that the community can play and have fun, and kind of also shake up the existing NFT mold, add some more utility to what people typically think of as just a normal NFT as an image. So yeah, that's kind of my story, and I've really enjoyed Harmony, the support, and obviously, like you said, there's ups and downs, but overall, they're helpful to people wanting to build. So a lot of things that they're doing right.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I love it. So speaking of which, obviously we got the some of the team. How big is your team? How many guys you got? Guys, girls,
Folks, we've got
folks.
the core team is Isaac and I,
Okay.
and we had been contracting with an animator friend of mine that helped with some of the animations that are used in Fish Fight. But a lot of so my background is in game development. So I've been working in game development since the Nintendo Wii, and done a lot of different stuff, and eventually switched into like moving away from games into more marketing stuff in the last like 6 years or 7 years. Um, but I'm getting on a tangent. What was your original question?
Size of
No,
the
it
team.
was what's that?
The size of the team.
Yeah, just the
Right.
size of the team.
Yeah, so I kind of lead all the game developments and kind of art production side of things. I am definitely like trained and I work with Isaac on the smart contract side of it, but generally I work like lead the game development side of it,
Okay,
and
cool.
kind of help with the front end sometimes, and just more capable and deal with all of the code that we deal with. But there's a pretty keen separation right now. It's pretty nice.
So
I do a lot of the
go ahead.
Solidity smart contracts and back end, some of the back end server stuff, and then we're using React for the front end stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then
So
yeah, we have one other person that we're starting to work with as part of Trustless team, and I think Ed, you can probably talk more to that. But the goal would eventually be that they're going to start helping with some of the fish fight work as well as we have a set of features that we're working on and want to keep building. So
yeah, so I guess let's start from the beginning. So I'm sitting here with the team Fish Fight over here on Harmony, and they alluded to it a little bit earlier. It's an NFT, and they've decided to add more utility to it. I believe there's fighting, there is breeding, I'm sure there's trading, but we can let the fellas talk a little bit more about it. So from the beginning, at the very simplest form, what is fish fight?
Cool. So FishFight is basically a collectible game, but it's intended to actually replicate what's still popular in the Philippines with cockfighting. And so like we think of it. I think fish are more or less endearing than chickens. I have chickens myself actually, and fish I think are easier to watch kill each other, especially if you can control them almost like Pokemon like. And so the idea was basically to like kind of in a weird way celebrate the strange human fascination with like the Colosseum and like what arranged fighting and like prize fighting can be like. And by using our fish, our digital fish, we can simulate what people have done for a long time, better or worse, and without any real bloodshed. But by in enjoying the power of like what crypto kind of does for gaming, in my opinion, crypto kind of brings us all the way back to like coin operation days, where like the reason people played coin op games in the way that they can very easily is that like once you put a quarter in, then life means something to you. Like it actually becomes a more urgent moment, and there's something special about that. And so yeah, we were hoping to create a kind of very like rudimentary. We don't want it to become like this overblown like expansion after expansion where it becomes more and more complicated. We want it to keep very very like chess or like Minesweeper-esque. Like we'll have more fishing locations and new exotic fish and like more dynamics as like the community comes in and kind of helps us decide what they want to play the game like. But we wanted it to be mirroring that old world fascination, taking on the like power of the dollar in a way of like imbuing assets with like something that makes tangible sense to people, and then creating a tokenomics kind of structure where it's not like really possible to exploit from bots or like abusive tactics. That it's a lot of it is really in many ways slowed down, so that even if a bot wanted to try to do what a human could do, they wouldn't really gain that much. And then it becomes more like this thing that you can do on your phone, like while you're taking a crap, like every once in a while, just like fight a fish and make a couple dollars.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, that's pretty much the main bulk of it. And there's a lot more that we've kind of layered on top that I think is really clean, but that's the root.
Yeah, so you touched a little bit earlier on like this physical visual battle. Now, maybe I have gone to the wrong place or have interacted the wrong way, but when I battled, is it just a simulation right now, and is that something you guys are working towards, or?
Yeah, it's a like it all happens on chain, and actually at one point we did have like fighting animations.
Okay.
And we're working back to implementing them. We reworked some of the stuff with the newer fighting contracts that changed up some of our like how the animations went. So we're re-adding those back in. But yeah, that's part of the goal is to have like more enjoyable kind of pretty like carnage based graphics of these fights that should be it'll be entertaining for sure.
Mortal Kombat style finish them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so
it's part of the vision here, and I think Ed's been working on hooking those back up. So
cool.
Obviously, Ed, you can touch on that, but that's part of like with our animation pipeline of improving some of the visuals.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I mean, obviously, I think that in addition to providing utility to an NFT outside of just, as you mentioned earlier, a JPEG. Having different types of missions and stuff are really, really wonderful. And then you elevate that, it all comes back to that experience, right? If I come to your website and I interact with NFTs and I'm clicking buttons and it's, similar to what other places have, but that extra bit of visual eye candy it's a really nice feature. That's something that, that over here in Harmonyville and when Lambo is we're really focused on as well. So that way, when you do click the button, you do see the visual of the race taking place, the burnout. So I can't wait to see it because I love the mint. I don't know if anybody in the audience has minted um, a fish, but I think that's cool. I think it's clever. It's like you're literally casting. I think that's really, really neat. A way to deliver it. And then I got a good bit of it. I think I had like 14 or 15. I think. Oh wait, I had 15. I lost one because it got beaten and destroyed in a battle. And so then I was
Nice.
like, yeah, I think I might be in over my head. Maybe I should start from the beginning. So like for somebody like me who hasn't played more than one time, I'm sitting here with these fish and I'm collecting their food. What should I be doing? Like what's the best beginner tutorial for me to partake in your project?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that you could do right now with say like fish food is kind of underused right now. There's not a lot of utility as far as how you can spend your fish food yet. The big thing is going to be non-lethal pools. But the concept behind fish food is actually more like a balance to the game's economy than it is like the utility we did intend to kind of fold in as the game evolves and continues. So, for instance, on launch, we had a higher breeding cost, or have a higher breeding cost compared to fishing, under the idea that, like, technically two strong fish can breed, and we didn't want it to become just too bad for weak fish in some sense. Like, we needed there to be some semblance of like game for people if you're on the lower end of the strength and intelligence and agility scores. But I think in general it's akin to like a collectibles game right now where you're looking for that choice fish, and if you can find one, if you get lucky and kind of find a strong fish and all the stats that it has, then it does actually like it can earn a lot more fish food than other fish. And so I think like the current gameplay path that's like most optimal for players would be like trying to find the best fish they can during fishing season. We do have a 4 hour, approximately based on the blocks timer, but approximately 4 hour loops where essentially you go through fishing, fighting, and breeding seasons, and then it repeats. Where the dynamics of the game are altered per season. So everything's cheaper during fishing season to fish. And then during fighting season, if you actually win a fight, you win twice the reward. And during breeding season, breeding is half off. And then this repeats. So like one of the pathways would be to catch a strong fish, kind of beat out one of the fish in the pool, and really just sit in the pool, claiming more fish food, waiting for challengers to try to challenge you. And each time they do, you earn fish food on their death if you win. And other than that, you would be able to take that fish, try to find someone to breed with you, create stronger fish through that, and kind of create, clear out the fighting pools so that you can actually end up with more of the whole. Every day there's about, is it 1,000 or 100? I think it's 1,000.
It's 1,000.
1,000 fish food is chummed into the fighting waters. And so the idea being that both these non-lethal pools will be coming, and also tournament play will be coming, where winning tournaments or even like contests like the Ugly Fish contest that is still in a DAO vote to allocate funds to basically let the community elect someone the ugliest fish. Then we would do a big token fish food token purchase from the open market and give that to that would come from the FishFight treasury, and that would then purchase fish food from the treasury, give it to the ugliest fish, burn a certain portion of it, and then give the rest of it to the ugliest fish. And so yeah, there's a kind of like open-ended gameplay pathway right now, and I think some of the changes that we're looking at making around lowering the breeding cost a little bit and asking for burning fish food in order to breed. That's going to be put to a Dow vote this week. And then the non-lethal fighting will allow people to, instead of having to risk so much in the fighting pools, which we intended it to be, it's low price for a reason. Like that was the sentiment around lowering the price, was to give people more of a comfort level around taking those risks. But in order for there to be just an overall just more people playing and taking on those risks, especially now when everyone's a little bit risk averse. Maybe I don't know maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So